Thanks so much for tuning into Daily Inspiration. Now, what I want to do here is I want to provide two explanations when it comes to how it is possible that a doll is able to move on its own, just like in this video. Because I see a lot of people all over social media doing stupid things to find answers to this question. They start doing all kinds of stupid things, one of them being trying to contact spirits to find the answer. So, basically, the evil spirits inhabit the item, but let's move beyond that and answer the question, why? Why would these spirits inhabit a particular item or object?
Demons are in a state of constant pain. They're under a constant excruciating pain. And what gives them a certain measure of relief is to inhabit a person or a thing. And given a choice, they're always going to choose a person over a thing. A thing could be an animal, it could be a room, a house, it could be an object, an inanimate object. But there's a certain kind of relief that they are experiencing when they do inhabit. And for this reason, they don't want to leave. And you are cornering, so to speak, a caged animal, or the equivalent of a caged animal when you confront a demon in order to cast him out.
And then this brings us to another question. What do we do about it? Again, remember, don't do stupid things like trying to talk to the spirits or anything of the sort. Instead, here's what you should do.
There are items that can be used in a negative sense. So when we talk about demonic infestation, it's not just in a location, but it can be associated with an object. So there are objects that can be used to advance what the devil's trying to do. So you think of voodoo or witchcraft, think of people that use magic wands, think of Ouija boards, voodoo dolls. There's a lot of things that are that can be used in a negative sense. So those things are very much real. Now, if an item has the presence of evil with it, the question I would ask is the object inherently evil? Meaning, obviously, if it's a voodoo doll, it's inherently evil. But it is possible for a regular object, perhaps, to have a curse placed upon it. It may not be inherently evil, but because of the curse placed upon it, it's bringing about the presence of the demonic. And in that case, that object simply could be blessed to return it to its original state, if you will. But something that's inherently evil should always be destroyed. And again, think of things, the Ouija board, a magic wand, tarot cards, again, things like that. I will say, if you believe there's some type of presence in your home, then you should have a priest come into your house and offer a very specific exorcism prayer. So there is a very specific prayer that a priest can say in a home that's troubled by evil spirits or a restless spirit, if you will. So if there's a spirit of a little boy or whatever that you said that may be present. So it's not just having the priest come in and say kind of a generic house blessing. You need a very specific blessing because you believe that there's some type of presence or entity in your home. And ultimately, whether it's the demonic entity or the restless spirit, it doesn't need to be there. But it's not just a house blessing from the Book of Blessings. It really is a very specific prayer it has to do. And sometimes people, if they're experiencing something in their home, they may do some investigation and try to figure out, is there any type of history in the home? There was a house I went to bless one time in the city of Indianapolis, and actually the whole neighborhood told me that they could see a father and a mother and 3 children, and the kids they knew the names of the children and all of that. It was a new subdivision, and when we did some research, we found out that on that site 100 years ago was an old farmhouse where the family had been murdered. And the people didn't know the history, but they actually knew the names of these entities. It was the family members that were killed in the house. So before even knowing the history, they could tell you the names of the people who died. And then after offering this very specific prayer, there was no longer any presence of these spirits, if you will.
Well then, that will be all for the video this time. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. And hopefully all of you have learned so much from this video. And remember, if ever you have any feedback or suggestion, please let us know in the comments below. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for your continuous support, contributions, and prayers. And until the next one, thanks again for watching and may God bless you.